Nancy Pelosi. Speaker Pelosi, thank you so much for joining us. I hope you are well and safe. I know your home district of San Francisco has been particularly hard hit. President Trump is considering relaxing federal guidelines for coronavirus for some of the less affected parts of the country. Do you think he should?
Well, first of all, let me just say how sad it is that even since the president's signing of the bill, the number of deaths reported has doubled from 1,000 to 2,000 in our country. This is such a very, very sad time for us. So we should be taking every precaution. What the president, his denial at the beginning was deadly. His delaying of getting equipment to where it continues, his delay in getting equipment to where it's needed is deadly. And now I think the best thing would be to do is to prevent more loss of life rather than open things up so that, because we just don't know. We have to have testing, testing, testing. That's what we said from the start before we can evaluate what the nature of it is in some of these other regions as well. I don't know what the purpose of that is. I don't know what the scientists are saying to him. I don't know what the scientists said to him. When did the president know about this? And what did he know? What did he know and when did he know it? That's for an after-action review. But as the president fiddles, people are dying. And we just have to take every precaution.
Speaker Pelosi, when you say that the president's denial was deadly, he obviously downplayed the risks of coronavirus for several weeks. And it wasn't until I think about 2 weeks ago that he started acknowledging the gravity of the crisis. But are you saying that his downplaying ultimately cost American lives?
Yes, I am. I'm saying that because when he made the other day when he was signing the bill, he said, just think 20 days ago, everything was great. No, everything wasn't great. We had nearly 500 cases and 17 deaths already. And in that 20 days, because we weren't prepared, we now have 2,000 deaths and 100,000 cases. So again, we really want to work in a unifying way to get the job done here, but we cannot continue to allow him to continue to make these underestimates of what is actually happening here. This is such a tragedy that we don't even know the magnitude of it because we do not have the adequate testing. Our first bill was about testing, testing, testing. The second bill was about masks, masks, masks. Of course, it was about, both of them were about addressing the emergency. We still don't have adequate testing, and we still don't have the personal protective equipment. And I thank you all for calling attention to the needs of our healthcare workers and other first responders who are risking their own lives to save lives. So again, let's review later what we should have done when. Let's now just stop doing the same thing, which is to deny and to delay, and instead to get what we need for the state so they can meet their needs, to the hospitals, to our healthcare workers who are heroes, our first responders and the rest, so that they have what they need. So again, they don't risk their lives while trying to save other lives.
Speaker Pelosi, obviously Congress just passed and the president just signed a $2 trillion relief plan. Take a listen to what Governor Cuomo of New York had to say about that stimulus bill.
I was shocked that they were so irresponsible in addressing the state and the city need. I mean, I never believed that they would just pass a piece of legislation that didn't address it. You know, they just did not address the revenue shortfall.
What's your response to Governor Cuomo?
Well, we have to do more. I think this bill was just a down payment. We had in the House bill $200 billion. The final bill was $150. Neither amount was enough because, again, every single day the need grows. I've talked to the chairman of the Fed, the Federal Reserve Bank, Mr. Powell, and asked him, Chairman Powell, and asked him to do much more because they have the authority to do so, even more authority since we passed this bill. But we have to pass another bill that goes to meeting the need more substantially than we have. We have other issues that we have to deal with in the bill in terms of personal protective equipment and an OSHA rule that protects workers. We have to do more in family medical leave. We have to be able to make people who get tested also have their visit to the doctor covered. We have to do more in terms of the assault on pensions. That is, that was not addressed, but Senator McConnell said we'll do it in the next bill. We have to address what happened to the District of Columbia, which was really cruel, that they called it a territory, and hence they got several $100 million less in funding. The list goes on about what we have to do. And again, it is the states, the municipalities, hospitals, and other health-serving institutions need more resources. It's so self-evident. And I understand the governor's anger. My own governor, we have big needs in California and other states in the union. Why should the states and why should these hospitals be having questions about whether they're going to meet the needs, life and death needs? On the subject of ventilators, for example, this is a life and death equipment. This isn't about let's breathe easier with a ventilator. This is about let's breathe, period. Life and death. Yep. And yet the president has been casual about the Production Act, that would have called upon industries for a while ago to making this equipment. So again, it's no use. My granddaughter even said to me, why keep talking about if only he had done this, if only he had done that? Let's put that aside for now and let's say what we need to do now as we go forward. And it really is a sign. Here we are on a Sunday morning. Last Sunday we were gathered in Leader McConnell's office, Chuck Schumer and I, Leader McConnell, Leader McCarthy, Secretary Mnuchin, and I said to them, since this is Sunday and the churches are closed, I want to begin my part of the meeting with a prayer. And I quoted Pope Francis's world prayer under this circumstance, and he said, I prayed that God would enlighten those who are responsible for the common good, that they would take responsibility for those in their care. And Secretary Mnuchin said, well, since you quoted Pope Francis, I'll quote the markets. And so that has taken us to another area of values.